Well, hello YouTubers, thanks for stopping by and checking out my channel. I got a little bit of an issue. I have a power steering issue with my vehicle. It's been pretty much like this ever since I've gotten it. I was thinking maybe it would get better after I drove it a while, but the car sit for quite some time. And when I come up to the light after it warms up, the power steering is real stiff. If you throttle the engine up a little bit, then it gets easier. It only does it when it warms up, so I'm having some issues with it. And I'm thinking, well, I may have to go ahead and replace the power steering pump. And the power steering pump on this is down on the bottom. A lot of these vehicles, the power steering is down low, so if you have to replace it, you're going to have to get your car jacked up and all that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But what I did, I went out and bought some of this Lucas power steering stop leak, and on the top it says renews worn rack and pinions, controls slacks and the squealing and the hard spots and the tight steering. And that's basically what I have. I have that tight steering when I come up to a light after it warms up. And I thought, well, you know, before I replace the power steering, might as well just try some of this out and see how it works out. Now, when you do this, you do have to drain all your old fluid out of your reservoir and also the power steering. What I'm going to do, I'm going to crawl underneath and hook the low pressure line and let this entire area of fluid drain out of this reservoir and all the way down this hose, because it's pointless just to try to suck some of this out of here because you still have all this excess all the way down that tube to the power steering, and there's probably a half a quart in there. So in order to be fair and to see if this stuff actually works, I want to drain all the old fluid out, put new fluid in, and put this in with it and drive it for a couple of days. But first, let's go out, we'll do some tests, and I'll show you what's going on with it. Alright, this is my Dodge Caravan, and when it's cold, I don't have any problem whatsoever with the steering. I can turn it with no problem. I can go right, and I can turn it back to the left, and the power steering really isn't making any noise. But as soon as it warms up, it's a totally different story. It makes a growl noise. And now the car's warmed up. Now, since I've stopped, I turn the wheel, and it's really hard, and you can hear growling. Of course, I'll probably have to put the camera outside for you to hear it. Well, I've got the camera outside. I'm going to go inside and turn the power steering, and you can hear the growling noise after it's warmed up. So that's what I'm pretty much up against. Alright, my car's sitting in the parking lot and it's warmed up, and if I try to turn the steering wheel, it's very difficult. But as soon as I put it in neutral and give it gas, it's real easy to turn. And you can probably hear that noise out there. So I'm probably looking at a power steering issue at this point. I may have to replace it, but I'm going to, like I said, do a review, and we'll give this stuff a chance to see if it actually works. Now, a lot of people don't know if it's a power steering issue or a rack and pinion issue, and that can be very scary. One way you can test your rack and pinion is simply put it in drive, find your parking lot, take your steering wheel, turn it to the right really hard, and when you do that, let go of it. If it spins back and starts to go straight, you're okay there. And if you do the same thing, turn it to the left, and once you let go of it, if it spins back around and goes straight, and if you have no weird clunking noises or any jerking noises as you're driving the car in the steering wheel, then more than likely your rack and pinion is just fine. It is going to be a power steering pump. So that is certainly good news. Of course, some of these power steering units are pretty hard to put on, but luckily for me, this one's not going to be too bad. So first, we'll put the fluid in it. We'll change out the fluid, put new fluid, and this conditioner. We'll see how it goes, and we'll drive it for 2 days and report back, and we'll see if this stuff actually works. And maybe save me from putting a new power steering pump on the car. But all right, well, hopefully that test there will show you what's going on with it. So in a nutshell, It's either two things. It's the rack and pinion or the power steering. So right now I'm betting on the power steering. So right now I've got the vehicle inside. I'm going to do this tonight. And I've got it up on ramps, and you can see the wheels are up there. Well, actually, I should get my light here so you can see a little bit better. Got the wheels up on the old ramps, and now I have pretty good access under the car. So the first thing I'm going to do is go underneath of it, and there's a little plastic shield I'm going to have to take off. And I'm going to have to look at that power steering unit down there and take off that low pressure line and get a bucket and catch a bunch of fluid and start on this and put new fluid in it. And we'll put this Lucas stuff in and see if it actually works. Of course, I'll have to drive it for a couple of days to be fair, to make sure it's going to be okay. Okay, now I've begun the process of draining my old power steering fluid out, and I'll crawl up under here with the light, and I'll show you. I really don't have to show you this, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea. My power steering unit is on the bottom, and if you look closely there, you can see the fluid kind of dripping out of the back of the, see there, I think you can see that right there. If I take my light and kind of hold it there and zoom in, you may be able to see where the power steering fluid is actually leaking out the back of that power steering unit there. So what I did, I just loosened up that fitting on the lowest part of the power steering unit. That way I know I get just about all of the fluid out, and that will make me happy. That way there's no old fluid in there. Being drained right now. It doesn't look too bad. It is a little dirty, so with the new fluid it will help. And actually made a little catch pan there just to kind of catch it, because when that stuff gets on the bottom of the frame area, it just drips everywhere, and this makes my life a little bit easier. So now all I got to do is go up on top, and we'll start putting this Lucas stuff in, and we'll see how it turns out here in a couple days. There is a couple little things on the bottle I'll read to you quickly. And first, and it says on the back, it says if your reservoir is a little low, you can just add some of this until you fill up the reservoir. But I think it's a better idea just to drain everything out and start from new and put the entire bottle in, because if you do, if it's going to work, that'll prove to me that it'll work. Oh, by the way, it says right here on the bottle, it says results are usually immediately. But hey, you know what? If it is, that's great. But I'm going to wait 2 days and make sure that it's going to work okay before I tell you guys that it doesn't and be a liar. But I want to tell the truth. Oh yeah, and one other thing, I am going to be making a video on how to change my oil pan. I'll show you that here in a second. But they're slowly going in. It takes a little while to get that Lucas oil in there, because it's kind of a red-looking stuff, very thick viscosity. The oil pan. All these Dodge Caravans with 3.0, yeah, look at that oil pan. It's rusted, it's got leaks really bad. I got a brand new oil pan coming. I'm going to be changing this out here in a couple of days. Don't make a video on it. A lot of these Caravans, the Grand Cherokee, the 99 with the 4.6, I believe, or the 4.7, I've had issues with those too. Those oil pans are just junk. They're made out of tin, but this one's leaking pretty bad. So I will be making a video on that in a few days. So like I said, here in a couple days, I'll get back with you guys and let you know how this Lucas stuff works out, and let you know if it fixed my power steering issue. So I'll see you then. All right, folks, the results are in, and check this video out. I went out and I did some testing, and I'm pretty impressed. And also, now I'm going to start the engine up and let you listen to the power steering, and you can tell there is a big difference now. There's hardly any noise. And hopefully you can hear that. So there's certainly a big difference from the other day when it was making that noise compared to now after I changed everything out. So I'm pretty happy with it. And like I said, if your power steering is really shot, this may not be the answer for you. You may have to go out and put a power steering on your vehicle. But hey, it's probably worth putting a bottle of magic in it and see if it quietens it down and helps out the power steering. Basically, all you're doing is changing the viscosity of the fluid inside your rack and pinion and your power steering, and it raises the pressure up a little bit, and it helps things work out a little bit better. And check it out. I've got it in drive, and I can sit here and completely turn this steering wheel without any problems, which is pretty amazing. All the way to the left, all the way to the right. And also that noise is pretty much gone, the growling noise. I'll be quiet a second, see if you can hear any noise as I turn this. So I gotta say, it worked out pretty good. So I've got to pretty much give it a thumbs up. So you know, if you're having any problems with your steering, stiffness or anything like that, you might want to give it a try. If you don't want to try that particular brand, you might want to try some other brand names and see if that helps. But the main thing is, I really think you have to drain the complete system, get everything out of the power steering, and put new fluid in with the new stuff. And I think that will really make a difference. But yeah, right there it's straight. If I turn it to the right, pretty good, and to the left, no problem. So it looks like it's going to work out okay. But also, when you first put the stuff in, you got to let it sort of settle down into the pump. It may take a few minutes to get that the new ingredients into the pump, because a lot of the viscosity in it is almost like molasses. So when you first start your car up, when I started this up, it made a little bit of noise until the pump got the fluid down in it and everything, and got the air out of the system. And once the air got out of the system, the noise pretty much went completely away. It looks like I'm going to be okay for a while, and I don't have to worry about replacing the power steering pump, which is certainly good news, because I really didn't want to replace the power steering pump. But you can see there's left, actually that's right, and there is left. And I can pretty much do it with the palm of my hand, and there's left all the way. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. So and also, just because it worked in mine doesn't mean it'll work in yours. You got to remember, if your power steering is pretty much gone, shot, there's really no magic bullet for it. You pretty much have to replace it. But it might be worth a bottle of, I guess you can say, magic to see if it'll help your situation. Anything's worth a try. Hope this helps you guys out. And thanks for watching, and good luck, everyone.